Hello everyone, welcome to EduTerrain and a warm good evening to you all. So hope my voice is audible now. Today there shouldn't be any problem. Hello everyone, welcome to EduTerrain. Yes, I'm really, before starting the session, I'm really sorry for this technical glitch which took a lot of time. I think more than 5 minutes it went away in that. Yes, anyone, can you please, someone please confirm, just give me a thumbs up if my voice is clear. Video to nahi aayega because I haven't set it up yet. All good, thank you Arpan for confirming. So today we are going to see yet another interesting scheme, that is Unnati scheme. And since this has been launched in 2024, that is in March, it is also called as Unnati scheme 2024. कई जगह पे highlighted है, and it is उत्तर पूर्व transformative industrialization scheme. So the name उसी में सब कुछ है. We are trying to transform the northeastern part of India by industrializing it. And how will that be done? By providing them with handhold support, by providing them with financial stability, by providing them with some financial aid sort of. So here under this particular program, if we look at basically the background of this scheme, if we look at, we have seen that northeastern state, it is trying to come out of whatever the एक इमेज बना हुआ है, एक छवि टाइप का, तो उससे they are trying to come out and also going for developmental activities, as a part of which this scheme has been launched very recently. इसमें देखा जाए तो there are 4 major things that you have to notice, or that is what that is being highlighted under this particular scheme, and that is one, the financial stimulus, that is the financial aid in the form of loans, in the form of incentives, in the form of subsidies. They are being provided to both existing manufacturing and service units and the new ones, so that they can establish themselves thoroughly, and at the same time that will help others also in that area. One. And 2, employment generation. Once the industrialization happens, what will happen? The most important thing is employment. Majority of the people, they'll get employment here. The second important point that you have to remember for this particular scheme is the employment generation. And third, why is this all being done? For Atmanirbharta, that is self-reliance. We are not going to depend on anyone, for which this is very important. So the third important point that you have to realize or remember related to Unnati scheme, it is Atmanirbharta. And fourth, the most important, government endorsement. So rather than relying on outsiders or any private agencies, it is a government which is the most trustworthy channel when it comes to the financial aid, etc. that is being happening. So all these 4 points are most important for Unnati. Why Unnati? Because of all these. Okay, these are my credentials. You can go through it later as well. Now, when we talk about this Unnati program, Uttar Purva, that is Northeastern States Transformative Industrialization Scheme, it has been launched in March 2024. And which is the implementing ministry or the nodal agency, that is Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, that is DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. ये हो गया हमारा implementing ministry. Next comes ये scheme कौन सा है? That is a central sector scheme. Centrally sponsored scheme है. कैसा है? This is a central sector scheme. So it simply implies that whatever the expenses that are incurred as part of this scheme would be borne by the central government only completely. Okay, now who is the target? They are targeting at least, when we talk about this scheme, actually they are envisaging applications from the new units, those who want to set up, or the already existing units in the field of manufacturing and services sector. So in this they are envisaging a minimum or approximately 2180 applications, important, and wherein through these applications they will be providing support to these industrial units, and that will help in generating direct employment for close to 83,000 people. Okay, so 83,000 new jobs they are expecting. Now, along with that, they haven't mentioned any number, but here they are saying that a significant number of indirect employment will also be generated. So, ये तो direct employment हो गया, indirect employment भी generate होगा. Okay. Now, what is the main objective or main aim or objective of this scheme? The first thing हमने already title में ही देख लिया है, transformative industrialization in these northeastern states. So for the development of industries and thereby generation of employment in the states of northeastern region, to generate gainful employment that will help in overall socio-economic development of these particular states, to create productive economic activity. Not only that will help in the improving the economic status or the economic health of the states as well, because that will obviously contribute to it. How all this would be done? By incentivizing the industrial expansion and optimizing operations, that is by providing them with the financial aid, some financial support to them in the form of subsidies, in the form of interest intervention. All these would be provided, interest subvention, all these would be provided to them under this particular scheme, so that whatever the objective or vision with which they have launched this scheme can be fulfilled. What is the vision? Majorly what we have seen, the financial stimulus, employment generation, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and the government endorsements. Okay, ये 4 point आप याद रखिए. Now how much is the financial outlay of this scheme? Here they are planning to invest 10,037 crores for this scheme, and this would be for a period of 10 years from the date of notification, that is March. So last date would be 31st March 2034. 2024 में हुआ है, 2034 होगा इसका. And additionally 8 years of committed liabilities, क्योंकि कई बार ऐसा होता है कि expansion में सब में time लगता है, and also repayments and all that, loans structure crores में है, तो obviously that would run into number of years. So for which what they have said that 10 years तो अभी है, plus 8 years also will be supporting them. Okay, so ये हो गया एक. Now how is this going to be done? This scheme is proposed to be divided into two parts. That is, whatever the funding that they have laid out, that would be in two parts. One part A, that would cater to the incentives to the eligible units. कितना उन्होंने allocate किया है? 9737 crores. So this would be completely as an incentives or interest subvention, direct subsidies, सब मिला जुला के 9737 crores है. Part B for implementation and institutional arrangements for the scheme, that is अगर वहाँ से कुछ capacity building चाहिए, कुछ support चाहिए, mentoring चाहिए, that all would be allocated for, or administrative cost या awareness campaigns कई सारे होते हैं, that all they are saying that 300 crores are allocated for that. This is very very important. किसके लिए कितना allocated है, timelines important, total financial outlay important. Okay, now what are the salient features of the scheme? Scheme period, as I have said, we have already seen from the date of notification up to 31/3/2034, along with 8 years of committed liabilities, क्योंकि उसके बाद भी रहता है. Application period for the registration, they are saying that industrial units, whoever wants to avail these loans or this whatever the benefits that are there under this scheme, they will be allowed to apply for registration from the date of notification of this scheme till 31st March 2026. They have to register themselves. Okay, now all applications for registration shall have to be disposed of by 31/3/2027. So आज से लेके जैसे 30 मार्च में ऑलरेडी ये स्कीम लॉन्च हो गया है, इसके बाद रजिस्ट्रेशन विल स्टार्ट फॉर द इंडस्ट्रीज. So that will, that saying that the last date for that registration should be 31st March 2026. उतने तक जितने भी registrations होंगे, based on that they will include them under this particular scheme. And उसके बाद भी they are only giving an year time so that उनका registration process complete हो जाए. Okay, and when should be the commencement of production or operation should happen? All eligible industrial units to commence their production or operation within 4 years from the grant of registration, not from the date of registration but from the grant. अगर आज किसी ने अप्लाई किया है registration 1 year के बाद आया, from that day within 4 years they have to commence the production in their units. Okay, and the districts are again categorized into 2 zones based on which subsidies would be provided. वो क्या है tabular form में मैंने बाद में दिया है, that we'll look into. So they're categorized into 2 zones. Zone A में जितने भी new and existing units होंगे, they all fall under industrially advanced districts. Already industrialization वहाँ पे अच्छे से चल रहा है. Zone B would be those places where industrially backward districts. Now the main focus of this scheme, Uttar Purva Transformative Industrialization Scheme, would be focusing on these areas where the districts, they are industrially backward areas. Okay, now इसमें कितना, how they are allocating, earmarking of funds. 60% of the outlay of Part A. Part A हमने देखा है ना, that is exclusively for the units only. Part B would be for the administrative expenses or कुछ capacity building, all those expenses. So 60% of the outlay of Part A has been earmarked to these 8 northeastern states, and the rest 40% would be on first in first out basis. ओके, जो भी सबसे पहले रजिस्टर करेगा उनके बेसिस पे होगा. ओके, उनको एलोकेट किया जाएगा. नाउ ऑल दीज they are focusing majorly here on the MSMEs, especially micro industries, wherein the plant and machinery calculation will include the building construction and the PM, that is plant and machinery cost as well, for capital investment in incentives. Now there are 3 kinds of support or incentives that will be provided to the beneficiaries under this scheme. One of that is the capital investment incentive. Okay, now all the new industrial units and expanding units will be eligible for these respective units. 3 kinds of incentives are there. Just give me few more minutes, I'll take you through the tables as well. Okay, now MSME classification, earlier also in one of the schemes we have discussed that MSME classification होता है, उसके basis पे that now whatever schemes that are there, beneficiaries would be selected under that. So here I wanted to provide you with that extra information as well. So as per the revised MSME classification, as per the MSME Act 2006, which is with effective from 1/7/2020, what is a micro enterprise? Micro enterprise is one wherein the investment in plant and machinery or equipment would not be more than 1 crore and turnover would not be more than 5 crores. वही small enterprises मतलब the investment in plant and machinery or the equipment, it should not be more than 10 crores and turnover is not more than 50 crores, and we can call it as small enterprise. वही medium enterprise, investment in plant and machinery or equipment not more than 50 crores and turnover not more than 250 crores. Okay, now earlier I have said that there are 3 kinds of incentives that would be provided to the beneficiaries. So following are the incentives available under the scheme to all those investors for setting up of new units or undertaking significant expansion of the existing units. So the first one, capital investment incentive, and here wherever GST is applicable वहाँ के लिए भी उन्होंने दिया है, and where GST is not applicable closely. Now zone A, 30% of the eligible value of investment in plant and machinery, that all with a cap of 5 crores. वही जहाँ पे भी GST not applicable है वहाँ पे 10 crores का cap. Zone B में 50% of eligible value of investment in plant and machinery with a cap of 7.5 crores. Earlier also we have seen that Zone B, in that the industrial, those are those areas where they are industrially backward areas. So the major focus is on these areas so that they can be industrialized properly and they can compete at par with the already industrialized areas, thereby providing them with a chance of development, economic development overall. So again इसमें कितना है, where GST is not applicable, the 50% of eligible value of investment, 50% जितना भी investment है उसमें 50% will be provided, but with a cap of 10 crores. Second incentive क्या है, central capital interest subvention, that is there would be some subvention on the interest. How much it is? Zone A के लिए under where GST is applicable 3% interest subvention offered for 7 years. वही zone B में 5% interest subvention offered for 7 years. Where GST is not applicable, zone A में 3%, again same, zone B also it's 5%, same, दोनों में इसमें कोई change नहीं है, इसमें है बस. Now the third incentive that they are going to provide is, now this is exclusively for new units only. Earlier two incentives, they are for both new and expanding units, as you can see here. But the third incentive, where manufacturing and services linked incentive, where it is linked to net payment of GST, that is GST paid is GST paid minus input tax credit with upper limit of 75% of the eligible value of investment, जितना भी वो investment कर रहे हैं, okay, based on the GST जितना भी वो पे कर रहे हैं माइनस जितना भी उनका इनपुट, that is जो भी वो पे कर रहे हैं towards input tax credit, अगर वो माइनस करेंगे उसका एक अपर लिमिट इन्होंने दिया है, दैट इज 75% ऑफ एलिजिबल वैल्यू ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट. और अगर जोन भी है तो 100% ऑफ एलिजिबल वैल्यू ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट, वॉट एवर द इन्वेस्टमेंट दैट दे आर डूइंग ऑन द plant and machinery in their new units. This is majorly to support in the initial phases when they'll have lots of expenses that are to be incurred while running the business. And maximum eligible benefits to one unit from all the components of the scheme. 3 components is majorly, okay, all that should run to maximum of 250 crores, not more than that, one unit, okay. So this is about the Unnati Uttar Purv Transformative Industrialization Scheme. Now there is an implementation strategy as well that has been designed by this DPIIT. So here, though it is a central sector scheme, DPIIT will be implementing this scheme in cooperation with the states. How? First, they'll have a steering committee which is headed by the secretary DPIIT. That is the one that will decide upon any interpretation of the scheme within the overall financial outlay, and they are this steering committee is the one that will issue detailed guidelines for execution of this scheme from time to time whenever there is any change or anything that is required. Second, state level committee रहती है which is headed by the state's chief secretary. Now this is the committee that will monitor the implementation, checks and balances, ensure transparency and efficiency of this scheme. And third level पे आता है secretary level committee headed by the senior secretary of the state from the industries. This particular committee will be responsible for implementation of the scheme, including the recommendation of registration and incentive claims. So basically ground level पे करने वाला जो भी recommendation for the registration of various units, it all would be done by the secretary of the state industries, okay. That committee would be doing, and they will have a lot of members also would be there, but that would be headed by the senior secretary of the state for industry sector, okay. So this is how they are planning. So basically state level पे actually 2 committees है, and national level पे steering committee है which actually designs everything, guidelines, everything related to the scheme. Now the most important points that you have to remember for this particular scheme is the scheme outlay. Application period, that is 10,037 crores. Period of registration, it is open until March 31st 2026, and within 1 year, that is 31st March 2027, the registration process has to be completed and they have to be registered. Unit has to commence commercial production within 4 years from the date of grant of registration. Important, delay नहीं होना चाहिए. no new registration will be entertained once the proposed incentives breach the threshold of 115% of the total outlay. Why 115%? कई बार ऐसा होता है कि not every unit will be authorized or will be provided. Those again based on the all the details etc. they'll finalize. So इसीलिए new registrations will not be entertained once जितने भी proposed incentives है that breaches 115% of the total outlay, that is 10,037 crores. इसका 115% हो गया मतलब they'll not allow any new registration until पुराने वाले they get all done, मतलब formalities वो सब complete हो जाए. Okay, so this is all that you need to look into when it comes to Unnati scheme, that is Uttar Purva Transformative Industrialization Scheme. So let's have a quick recap of what we have done till now. We have seen what exactly is the scheme, why Unnati, and the 4 important points that we have seen under that, that is financial stimulus, employment generation, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and government endorsement. After that we have seen which is the nodal agency, implementing ministry, and we have seen it is a central sector scheme. We have also seen how it is going to be implemented, what are the main aims or objectives of this scheme, and what are the components of the scheme, the 3 main components through which the incentives would be provided to the both new and already existing units. Okay, and how much is the incentive that is going to be provided to them, what are the timelines related to the registration of the unit, and the funding, how much time would they be given, how much the entire outlay of the scheme, everything we have seen here. And important again, very one of the most important schemes when it comes to your ESI के लिए भी ये बहुत important रहेगा ये scheme, and at the same time this would be important for your regular general awareness current affairs as well. Yes, so this is all from my end. Okay, so I have tried to keep it short, and the most important points I have discussed here. Yes, any questions, queries? And thank you very much for being so patient. Okay, no queries, no problem. I'm winding up the session then. See you all tomorrow with yet another interesting scheme, and then we'll yes, thank you very much once again. Please take good care of yourself. Take care. Bye bye. Good night.